welcome to this information session that is about the Complex Risk Analytics Fund's open call for proposals on gender data. My name is Antje, and I will be leading you through today's session. They will take all your questions through the Q&A box. I'll say more about that in a second. We will spend the first 20 to 30 minutes to talk about CRAF'd, who we are and what we do, about the open call for proposals, and then something that might be most important for you at this stage is how to submit a concept note through our online platform. And then we will have 30 more minutes or so for a dedicated Q&A session. Before I start talking more about CRAF'd, I want to hear from you how well you know us, or how much you know about CRAF'd already. This will help us understand who's on the line today, and then we can also try to tailor the presentation more towards you. And Yaya has just launched a poll, so if you could please respond, that would be super helpful. And I see answers are trickling in, and it looks like most of you don't know too much or nothing about CRAF'd. I'm stopping the poll here so you can see the results. And that's not a problem, because that's why we are here. And hopefully things will become clearer in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Let me just click this away. So in a nutshell, CRAF'd is a multilateral financing instrument which helps partners to finance, connect, and reimagine data, analytics, and AI to save lives. So in a nutshell, we finance critical risk data to better unlock value for people and planet. We do connect different data sets, tools, and partners so that we can better target and reach people that are affected by crisis. And together with our partners, we also reimagine our work through data-driven approaches with the digital transformation ahead of us and all the major breakthroughs in new technologies, including AI. CRAF'd we've already got major partners on board. Germany, the US, Netherlands, UK, the European Union are all supporting CRAF'd and have committed over $26 million over the past 2 years for our joint investments. And I should also point out that CRAF'd is a big cross-UN, cross-nexus effort with over 20 UN organizations committed to CRAF'd, and we also collaborate with a number of non-UN partners, research institutions, think tanks, NGOs, and many more. We allocate 15 to 20 million every year, and we are investing in 2 different things. We are investing in data sets that we all need in the peacekeeping, peace building operations, but also in the humanitarian development space. So basically data sets that are not official development statistics, but that everyone relies on or depends on for crisis action. And on top of that, we are also investing in analytics and AI know-how. So basically all the data, digital, and AI tools that are now increasingly possible. If you take everything that we have invested so far on behalf of our partners, we can say that over 100 partner organizations are using CRAF'd supported data and insights to shape around $10 billion in crisis action in some form. And when I mean in some form, or when I say in some form, I mean the data and insight helps organizations to get funding to people affected by crisis earlier, faster, and in a more targeted and dignified way. We have already made a major investment in analytics that help partners tackle climate fragility risks and strengthen the data crisis ecosystem through capacity building and events. You can see on the slides that we are partnering with UNHCR, DBBA's Innovation Cell, but also with the Peace Research Institute Oslo, the International Crisis Group, just to mention a few. And we've also made inroads into investments for essential crisis data for better crisis action. We have made a significant contribution to ACLED, which is a global reference data set for conflict and violence. We are supporting the global reference data set on internal displacement through IDMC. We are supporting displacement and migration data through IOM's displacement tracking matrix. And we are also partnering with regional organizations such as IGAD's Climate Prediction and Application Center on climate data, just to mention a few of our project partners. Let me pause here before I speak more about the open call, because again, I want to hear from you, or we want to hear from you, what would be most useful for you to know about the open call to navigate the application process. And Yaya has just launched another poll that you should see pop up on your screen. So if you could quickly respond to the poll, and it's basically, should we talk more about the process, the timeline, the eligibility criteria, evaluation criteria, what's most helpful to you today? And I'll take a quick sip of water, but it looks like most of you are interested in the eligibility criteria and the evaluation criteria, and I will cover those aspects in the following section. And again, all the information we are covering today is included in the guidance document and the FAQ section on our website. So please make sure you carefully read through both of these documents. In a nutshell, this open call is on gender data for better crisis action. We do have $3 million available overall that we will spread across multiple projects. Individual projects should ideally have a minimum grant size of $500,000. So that means in turn that your project budget should range between $500,000 and $3 million. The maximum project duration is 24 months. And I will speak more to the timeline, but just for you to keep in mind, the most important deadline for now is 4th of August, midnight New York time, for you to submit a concept note. And we do accept 2 concept notes per organization, and I'll speak more to that in the following slides. You are all here because we are seeking projects that generate, enhance, and maintain essential gender data. So our focus is on data that helps us tailor crisis anticipation, prevention, and response better to the needs of women, girls, and gender diverse people. And in a nutshell, we are looking for primary and secondary data sets that cover at least one or more of the 6 buckets or focus areas that you see on the slide. And I will quickly go through all of them. So in the first bucket, we are looking for data sets that help us understand and highlight gendered impacts of crisis and complex risks. This can include conflict, food insecurity, climate crisis, displacement, and many more, or the overlap of these risks. So basically data that help us understand how crises affect different genders differently and how we can better tailor our responses to their needs. We also seek data sets that support the work around the women, peace, and security agenda. This can include, for example, data on women's roles in peace processes or their security in crisis settings. And more broadly, we are interested in data sets that highlight women's participation in decision-making and programming around crisis action. The other three buckets are data sets on gender-based violence and on sexual reproductive health, services and needs in fragile and crisis-affected settings. And last but not least, data sets on and for locally and women-led crisis action. So basically those data sets that help us reflect and have women-led and feminist voices become an integral part of global crisis action. I did mention in the beginning that through CRAF'd, we finance, connect, and reimagine data to save lives. And as such, we do want to contribute to strategic priorities with our investments. And as such, we do require you to demonstrate how the data set that you are providing or maintaining contributes to at least 4 strategic objectives that you can see here on the slide. The first objective is that the data set or the related project should be action-oriented and support data-driven solutions. So basically, your data set should be designed with clear use cases in mind, and we will ask you to demonstrate on how the data set you're putting forward will help address specific problems or challenges within crisis-affected and fragile settings. So in a nutshell, data sets that help inform decisions and programming in crisis-affected and fragile settings, leading to earlier, faster, more targeted and dignified crisis action. And specifically linked to the theme of this open call, we seek data sets in support of gender-responsive and gender-transformative decision-making and programming. So basically, those data sets that help us incorporate comprehensive gender perspectives across operations. As mentioned with CRAF'd, we are fostering and supporting sustainable collaborations across the global crisis data ecosystem. And as such, we will prioritize data sets that are developed collaboratively, especially those that involve local, women-led, or feminist organizations. So in a nutshell, we do encourage joint applications whenever possible, ideally with local women-led and feminist organizations. Last but not least, we seek data sets that promote the integration and mainstreaming of gender perspectives across the humanitarian development peace sectors. So basically, they can be used across these sectors within crisis and fragile affected settings. With CRAF'd, we want to make sure that the data we invest in is ethical, accessible, high quality, and reliable. And as such, the data sets we are supporting or investing in need to be compliant with our technical standards and requirements. You see the list of those requirements here on the list. I'll quickly go through them. So we will prioritize data sets that adhere to rigorous data responsibility standards. And this includes ensuring informed consent, privacy, confidentiality, and fairness. And this is especially important for data on gender or multiple layers of or multiple factors that intersect. We want to ensure that the data can be used widely to drive impactful solutions. And as such, we do require data sets to be free and accessible to CRAF'd partners and the wider crisis data ecosystem. If there are privacy or security concerns that may limit the public accessibility of your data set, please do flag this to us in the concept note and we will take it into consideration. The data we support should ideally be easily integrated and used across various platforms and systems. So data sets should ideally be in non-proprietary and open standard formats, machine readable, and you should ideally provide them through an API. For quality and validation processes, we require them obviously to be in place, but also to be transparent and publicly available to maintain credibility and quality of the data set. And we also do encourage our project partner to undergo peer review and document their peer review process. And relatedly, we also want to ensure that the data users can fully understand and effectively use the data we are supporting. So ideally, your data set should come with metadata and documentation on everything related to methods, sources, formats, and any other processing or transformation you apply. Quickly on the timeline, the application process for this open call is structured in 2 stages. In the first stage, we invite you to submit a concept note through our online platform. I'll speak more to that, how that works in a second, but we require you to do so by 4th of August, midnight, New York. Then we will assess all concept notes together with our stakeholders and invite a shortlisted number or a short list of applicants to work with us on a project document that we will then take to our decision-making body, the steering committee, for approval, and that will happen towards the end of this year. Once the project is approved, we will disperse funding likely early next year, January or February. As mentioned, every organization can submit up to 2 concept notes through this open call for proposals. And eligible are 2 groups of organizations. First of all, UN organizations that have signed our Memorandum of Understanding. And you see a full list of UN organizations that has signed it already. If you haven't signed our MOU and would like to apply, please do reach out to us at CRAF'd@un.org and we will facilitate the signing process. I want to mention, though, that there's no urgency for now. We will only require you to have a signed Memorandum of Understanding in place once you make it to the second stage of the application process. Eligible are also non-UN organizations, those that are not-for-profit and civilian in nature. And this can include, for example, NGOs, academic institutions, research organizations, think tanks, and other international organizations such as the IFRC. And non-UN organizations can access funding from CRAF'd through 2 modalities. First modality is the direct access. And that means if you choose this access modality, you will have to undergo a comprehensive due diligence process in the second stage of the application process. And that due diligence process includes, amongst others, a fiduciary assessment, that we call HACT assessment. The team will put a link to that in the chat, a PSEA assessment, and then you will have to undergo a few more reviews, including of financial audit reports. We also then require you to submit a number of documents, including a registration or a proof that you are not a not-for-profit organization. We will ask for financial audit reports of the past 2 years, a proof that you have successfully managed and implemented a grant of the same size that you are requesting from CRAF'd, and UN and donor reference letter. Again, those documents will only be required in the second stage of the application process. We just want to make transparent what the due diligence process looks like and what kind of documents we will require from you. Another way to access CRAF'd funding is through a managing agent. So basically, your organization will function as an implementing partner, either as of a UN organization that has signed our MOU, or a current non-UN project partner of CRAF'd. And we have put the list of those on the slide here, but you can also check on our website. The team will put the link in the chat. It's basically ACLED, the International Crisis Group, IDMC, IGAD, NRC, and the Red Cross, Red Crescent Climate Center. I also quickly want to touch on the concept note and how to submit this in the first stage of the application process. Again, you can submit up to 2 applications through this open call for proposals. And you can do that through the online platform. Link is in the chat, or just scan the QR code. When you submit the concept note through the platform, I want to mention that there's an automatic save function. So your responses are automatically saved on the platform. However, we would like to encourage you to complete the concept note in a single session to make sure that in case there are technical glitches, you don't lose all the work that you've already put in there. And as you've seen on the previous slide, we've also made the template with all questions available on our website, and the link is in the chat as well if you want to access it now. There are word limits for almost all narrative questions, and also to flag that all questions are mandatory. Thank you so much for calling in today. We are really excited about this open call and can't wait to receive your concept notes. If you have any questions throughout the process, please send us an email at craf'd@un.org. And we would also like to stay in touch with you through social media, but we also do have a newsletter. So please follow us or sign up for our newsletter. And last but not least, obviously, you're also invited to visit our website. We do have a pretty comprehensive page on this open call with the guidance document and an additional FAQ section. So please do revisit those. And with that, thank you so much, and looking forward to receive your concept notes very soon. Thank you. Bye.